All right, guys, we're back here with Leafs and Seven. We've got Mike, we've got Brandon, and we've got myself, Camille. We're ready to get into it. Definitely got a lot of things to cover today. We've got a quick draft. Free agency was absolutely crazy in the NHL. If you missed it, I don't know what you were doing because it looked like the NBA. It was nuts. And then we're gonna talk about the rest of free agency and let's get into it here, guys. Leafs draft pick. We had what did we have? 3 players.
Just 3. We only had 3 picks.
No first.
No
Yeah.
first.
Well, you know what? Honestly, when you're in this kind of win now scenario, I'm sure this is probably a little bit more common than we think. It's just we haven't been there as a team, in this situation so long. And you know what? We still haven't made it past the first round, so we're giving up these picks, and it's for nothing. But that's okay.
It's hard to be a win now team and not winning.
It's on a positive note. At least this year is a weird year, so first round pick, later first round probably could be, who knows. So we'll take a little grain of salt, little positivity.
Like we have to realize most of these players haven't played hockey in a year, right?
That's right.
No one's actually seen these guys play in a while.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if this is the year, like a lot of people are saying this too, like if this is the year where you want to trade away picks, and because scouting is weak, obviously people aren't playing. Mm-hmm. This was the year to do it. So
draft picks are not worth as much this year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So let's get into it here. So the very first draft pick we have, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it was I think it was Ty Voigt, right? From the Sarnia Sting. He was a 5th round pick. It wasn't him?
No, it was
Matthew Nice.
Yeah, he was first.
Matthew Nice. Okay, Matthew Nice.
57th overall, 2nd round.
All right, let's talk about him. How do we feel about that?
Well, good thing to see first. The Leafs are incredibly weak on the left side, and he's a left winger. Hey, pretty big left winger. He's 6'2", 210 pounds.
Big boy.
That is a big boy.
So he's already, for his age, he's only 18, 19, and he's already that size and shoots left. So, that's pretty good.
Let's have a little optimism too. He's from Arizona. Got the Arizona ties. Austin Matthews, maybe. Huh?
Yeah. And almost a point a game player. 46 points. 46 points in 47 games.
Yeah, he played in the USHL, correct?
Yes. Yes. USHL.
Right. And I think, I don't know. I don't want to rush him, but can he play right now? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. We just need someone. We need someone at left wing so badly, guys.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. With his size, maybe he'll be ready. Maybe not this year, but next year.
Yeah,
possibility.
There you go. Yeah. And I think that's where I was leading it. I kind of misread, jumped the gun here a little bit. Next is Ty Voigt from the Sarnia Sting, 5th round, 153rd overall. Guess what? Another left winger. It's almost like they're like, holy crap, we're weak at this position. This guy's born in Pittsburgh. Don't know too much about him. Kind of excited that when I was reading a description about him, they were saying that he literally is one of the most shifty guys. He's a smaller guy. He's like Crosby size, 5'10".
Yeah.
But he tries to model his game after Johnny Gaudreau, which I'm all about. Looking forward to seeing that.
And he is one of those guys that hasn't played. He didn't play last year.
So
he has 1 year of OHL experience, so who knows?
Right.
Maybe he's one of those guys who could be a surprise. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or he's just never makes the NHL. Yeah. So
that's every player. You never know.
Yeah, and just wrapping it up here, we got a goalie from the KHL, 6th round, 185th overall. I'm going to attempt to pronounce his name. It's Vyacheslav, I think. Vyacheslav. I don't really know if you guys want to take a stab at it here, but
I think you might have nailed it.
Maybe. Yeah, but anyways, this guy is from the KHL. Had a 909 save percentage in the year he did play, but again, in the 2020-2021 season. Wait, did he play in last year? Yeah.
Well, probably in the K.
Yeah, he would have played if he was in the K.
You're playing in Russia. They don't. Yeah, doesn't matter. You're there.
But he's a 6th rounder. He might be he'll probably be an AHL guy if anything. He's smaller. I mean, he's 6'2", but 163 pounds. That's odd.
Yeah. I think 6'2" is actually a pretty good size for a goalie.
The weight, 163 pounds at 6'2", that's
weird.
Yeah, lanky and thin.
Yeah, but you can always bulk up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. Maybe he wants to be that. Maybe he wants to be light on his feet. Who knows? But that was obviously pretty quick here, guys. I think what we before we dive into free agency, because I'm so excited because we have so much to discuss.
So much.
One thing I want to bring attention to, obviously, is the Montreal Canadiens draft pick of choice that garnered like a lot of attention at Heat from obviously media, like Twitter, just anyone, right? Which was the Logan Mailloux pick. We already know the story here. For those that aren't aware, he was involved with someone when he was playing hockey over in, I believe, Sweden.
Yes.
And the victim was a 17-year-old female who he had a sexual relationship with.
Consensual relationship.
Yeah, consensual relationship. And he actually committed a sex crime by taking intimate photos, first spreading them to his teammates. Some of them actually leaked online somehow. What do we think about this? What do you think about Montreal deciding to take this kid, even though he said specifically that he did not want to be drafted this year and he wanted a year to kind of change, become more mature? What do you guys think?
Well, I'm fully in agreement with people can change. He did this when he was 17. Dumb kid. Still a horrible thing to do. He's apologized. He took a good step in saying, I don't want to be drafted, and he shouldn't have been drafted. The bad thing is that Montreal drafted him, and they knew exactly what they were doing because as soon as they made the pick, they put out a statement saying why we drafted him. So they knew it wasn't the right thing to do. It's essentially, they got this guy who should have went first round. They got him in the 31st pick, I believe. And they knew, we're getting a steal. So we're just going to get this guy. No one else is going to take him because of this thing. But you know what? Hockey above all else. So let's just take him and we'll apologize later down the road and we'll get him play in a year or two. So I agree with him getting a second chance. I don't agree with him he should have had punishment enough of not being picked this year, but they rewarded him because they're greedy.
Also comes a bad look for Bergevin, obviously, because his whole involvement, the whole Chicago thing that's been coming up, and it's a bad look for him, and making himself really seem like he clearly doesn't give a shit about anything except for hockey and winning and getting the best draft pick possible for his spot.
Yep.
So
I think just to add to that, with Logan's case, I'm a firm believer as well in second chances. I don't think, obviously, this should be the end of a promising career. I don't think that does anyone any good, including, just we need to show as a society a redemption is possible. But obviously, with respect to the victim here of the crime,
can't sweep it under the rug.
You can't sweep it under the rug.
No,
can't reward him. But you know what? It's already been done. He's drafted. It's can't change it. So I really look to the Montreal organization.
Yes.
If they're going to take this, they have to be responsible for developing him into a young man, to a young professional, and really kind of guiding him the right way. Because what they did here was already brought a lot of negative attention to their team. Even Montreal fans. Imagine just a guy wearing a Montreal jersey now coming. Oh, you support a team that allows for. You know what I mean? There's things like that. It's just a negative image. So,
especially I really so far this year.
Yeah, it just brings attention to for no reason. So, hopefully they can develop him into a young man. He obviously needs to grow, but
and
I think
you said, sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, like you were saying, it's up to we want to watch what Montreal does, because they did say, I think it was Matt Molson was saying, we want to help the victim and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, how are you going to pay for therapy, that kind of stuff? We don't need the specifics, but I want to know, are you actually helping him, or are we just getting the whole thoughts and prayers crap? Right? If there's making the steps to, hey, we're helping them out with this. We're making, they've already said that he's not going to be playing next year. He's not going to training camp or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So that's a step in the right direction. But I want to actually see, hey, we're not just making an apology and sweeping it under the rug and forgetting about it. I want to see, are you actually doing what you said you're doing? Are you actually trying to make him a better person, making sure he doesn't do crap like this, and making sure other players don't do this again?
Yeah. Not to obviously harp too much on the issue already, I will just say this, that there was an article. I'm not sure if it actually specifically came from the Swedish police or how that looked, but right after the crime had been committed, before it had, kind of leaked over here to the West, he had actually said, like Logan Mailloux, he had said that, oh, this girl's very vindictive. She's trying to ruin my life, and it turns out that actually is not the case. So it does show, that's immaturity on his end there, right? Obviously, trying to push blame onto the victim, and then so there's a growing process there. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully he learns from this, and Montreal is going to take some heat. That's what happens when you make these kind of decisions as an organization. It's a risk. So at the same time, he was a minor, right, when he committed this. So he wasn't charged. 17. They were both 17. All right. So he's not going to be criminally charged as an adult. So let's hopefully they learn from it. No. Oh no, absolutely not. No. But what I'm saying is that, like, when you make these things, obviously when you turn an adult, hopefully he turns a new leaf with that, right? So and don't
I believe it's been talked about in depth by so many other people.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to hear us go on for about an hour on this. They know our stance on it. They know, it's a bad thing.
All right, guys, let's continue to dissect this for another 50 minutes.
That's where I was getting to.
All right, guys, let's go. Leaf draft. I've got to start us off here because free agency was absolutely bananas. I don't even. Okay, I know exactly where I'm going to start here. Okay, so I'm going to start with the big dollar spend. Peter Mrazec.
Yeah.
First, what are your thoughts, guys? Come on, give me something. What do you guys think?
Okay, so we got what was it? It was 3.8 for 3 years, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, 3.8 for 3 years. Now he's got some good numbers and stuff like that. I think it's a little high for what he brings to the team, especially like in a normal situation. If we had cap room, then 3.8 is not bad for a tandem goalie, not a backup, a tandem. That's pretty good. But considering what position we're in, we have almost nothing on the left side. I mean, there was other goalies on the market that we could have got, like Darcy Kemper was available for a trade. We'll get into that, how Dubas says he doesn't want to do any trades, but we'll get into that later. James Reimer, we could have got James Reimer again for 2.4, I believe he signed for. And I would have rather taken that and gotten an extra 1.2 million. That's a third line left winger that we could have had. So I like Peter Mrazec, and his stats he's got good numbers, but for the price and what in our situation, I think it's a bit of an overpay, but you're going to do that in free agency.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I don't hate the signing. Like, I think Mrazec's a solid backup, especially with, Campbell being uncertainty and all, but I agree with you. And I wish they would have went a cheaper route, With, like, even a guy like Yaroslav Halak, what he signed for like 1.5.
Oh yeah, something.
I'd take him as a backup. Save some money because again, I agree. Like, if we weren't in the cap bind, it wouldn't be as much of an issue. But we're buying with some money, and we need positions.
So I'm going to disagree with both of you because that's what I do. The only reason I'm doing that is because Peter Mrazec in this situation is not a backup. He's been a tandem goalie his entire career.
Yeah.
This guy, like Jack Campbell, let's face it, unbelievable last year. If he plays like that again, and he's playing like that again, Peter Mrazec doesn't touch the ice. Like, maybe obviously in the backup back-to-back games, right?
Yeah.
But that makes it worse.
Yeah. But I hear you. But that's the thing. Does he repeat that? He doesn't have a history of being a starter in this league or starting more than, I think that was the most games he ever played in a season in the NHL.
Well, they never gave him starting minutes before,
I understand. So no, especially in LA behind Johnny Quick, right?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that I saw what injuries did to Frederik Andersen last season. He couldn't even play. He couldn't even play an NHL game.
No, he's terrible.
He tried. He couldn't.
No.
Campbell had his own share of injury problems last year. And I understand that, you can get a backup. I feel much safer if Campbell gets injured with Peter Mrazec in net over. I know the cost is there. I know we're sensitive to the cap. I'd rather have Peter Mrazec than a James Reimer, even though the cap is so valuable because thank you, Dubas.
I mean, look at the title of our episode, 850K left. No left wingers.
Yeah, let's talk about that. More importantly,
let's stay on track. Stay on track.
Yeah. See, I could go off, but anyways, really happy to have Peter Mrazec on board. If you actually saw what some of the other goalies were signing for, did you guys see what Freddie went for?
Yeah, 4.5. No, why would you pay that?
4.5.
It's exactly what you were saying. He couldn't play in the AHL. He was a non-option.
Well, let's face it. He's going to get better. He's going to get healthier, obviously with time to recuperate. But these goalies were not going for cheap across the league. It's like obviously there were some cheaper options, like Mike mentioned, Yaroslav Halak.
Yeah.
Things like that. Great, but a lot of the other goalies that were going, man, they were up there. So
that's why I said I had no problem with the Mrazec signing. Like I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's one specific goalie trade that I would have rather have made, and we'll get into that. I mentioned that off the air earlier.
Does it rhyme with Murray?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some other notable signings. And at least this is really funny. So if you guys ever pay attention to hockey Twitter, you can go on any notable person who follows the Leafs. Whenever they announce it, like go to the Sportsnet guys or the Hockey Insiders, and they'll say, "Oh, the Leafs traded for X," or "The Leafs have signed X." You'll see people come in droves being like, "Yeah, that ought to break your first round curse," or "Yeah, good luck with that player." Right? One of the things I didn't see happen that caused a lot, but a lot of people were still complaining about, Leaf fans in particular, was the signing of David Kampf. So he's a Czech player from the Chicago Blackhawks. He signed a $1.5 million contract for 2 years. He had 1 goal last year. He is a bona fide fourth liner. He's a defensive shutdown guy. And Leaf fans were in droves.
Was that Kampf or was that Bunting who had 1 goal last year? I believe it was Bunting.
No, it's Kampf. I just looked it up. It's Kampf. Huh. He had 1 goal last year. So we paid a guy 1.5, and people were, going insane. Leafs fans were losing their minds.
Shocking.
Yeah, shocker, right? One of the things that I saw was Blackhawks fans coming in droves. Just flood, which doesn't usually happen. Trust me when I say other teams, especially when we look at it when Tavares got traded, when other people got traded, they will come and they will say, "Yeah, good luck with this player who you just signed for $5 million." He's when this happened with Cody Ceci, it happened with a bunch of players, right? They'll always come and attack the Leafs. These Blackhawks fans were coming in defense of Comp, saying, if you guys ever wanted one of the, a solid penalty killer who's going to win you faceoffs, and he's never going to be a defensive liability. And by the way, we haven't actually had a dedicated center on a penalty kill since Par Lindholm, which is a long time ago, and that's ridiculous. I looked it up. It's insanity.
Yeah, it's not good.
I'm happy to have a penalty killer that is his role, to kill penalties. What do you guys think? Tell me. Do you guys think it's too much?
Yes. I think it's great to have a shutdown centerman. I've read the same things as you, that it's essentially you're at neutral ice. Your guys, your big guys can get a couple minutes rest and not have to worry about the puck. Him losing a faceoff, going to the other end on a breakaway. He's very solid on faceoffs. But again, and I hate to keep bringing it up constantly when he's got some good stuff to him. But we $1.5 million and we have no money for a guy with 1 goal. And a big issue we noticed in the playoffs was depth scoring. Matthews and Marner were shut down, and we got no scoring anywhere else because we don't have any depth anymore. So getting a guy for $1.5 million who can't score, great.
It seems worse because of the cap situation, but
but that's the thing. We're stuck with a cap situation. If we were in a luxury tax league, yeah, great, awesome. We have a guy that can play shutdown minutes on the center, and he's going on the penalty kill. But we're living in a salary cap era, and we are right against that salary cap, and we're missing so many key pieces to this team. So we don't have $1.5 million to blow on a guy that's helps our defense a little bit and gets us a couple more face-offs. We don't have that.
Especially when you compare that contract to like a Spezza contract, where we're getting some scoring out of him as well. Granted, probably not as good defensively as this guy, but
no.
In comparison, it just seems like a lot.
I mean, you always pay centers more. I understand that.
Yeah.
You can't.
Sure.
That 1.5 million, like maybe 1 million, I'd be okay with it, but 1.5. I mean, that's double that's double the Simmons contract from last year.
Honestly, I'm okay, and you guys are probably gonna get some flack from this. Obviously, the payment's quite a bit. I'm okay if he gets 0 goals. If it means what I think it means, if it means what these fans say they think they know about him, even though and again, I understand. Believe me, I understand the salary cap. If we can really if we can really get a shutdown guy, if he can be our cheap, Montreal Canadiens version of Danault. Obviously, that guy's more. Obviously, Danault has more skill to him. He has an upside swing. I understand that, but if he can be a shutdown guy on teams' top lines, I'm all for it. I know it's costly, but yeah, it's going to be a gamble. But I will say this: with all the signings that we've had, I still want to go over a couple more guys. Well, specifically one more. This team is worse on paper than last year.
Absolutely.
By quite a long shot.
Absolutely.
Like we lost Zach Hyman.
Do you want to talk about that in depth at all? Because that's a massive loss right there.
If you want to talk about the free agents, do that, and then we'll talk about like the losses from free agents.
Yeah, like there's quite a few I want to talk about. But do you want to go through the losses? Then we'll go through the Leafs and as they are, because there's a couple of main ones that we should talk about losing. For specific reasons.
Well, maybe we should continue on the signings and then go into that. Like, I agree.
Yeah.
Michael Bunting. I actually like this signing.
Mm-hmm.
He actually got offered more money to play elsewhere, which, I know, whatever. I'm not saying he's like this hero is going to maintain his 26% shooting percentage from last year, but guess what, guys? Guess who originally signed him away from AAA?
Oh, I don't know, Kim. Tell us.
KD, Kraft Dinner, Kyle Dubas signed him. He actually played at an athletic high school in Scarborough and ended up signing him right out there. And he's coming from the Phoenix Coyotes and cap hit of $950K.
Hey, Camille, did you know where he played from 2013 to 2015? Take a guess.
Tell me.
He played for the Sioux Greyhounds.
Wow. It's almost like there's no other, there's no other places to get players. They have to come from the Sioux.
The best development, the only development.
No, I don't want to harp on it. Obviously, like
it's a thing.
It's fine. Yeah, if he knows these players, fine, whatever, it's fine. Mm-hmm. But I actually like this. I actually like this signing, by the way.
Like his numbers look pretty good.
Yeah, he's 25 years old. He was actually drafted by the Coyotes in 2014, fourth round. He has spent like 6 seasons in the AHL, and all of his numbers have been great. He's not going to be a guy who's going to light up, the score sheet, but he can definitely provide some offense. Mm. Some people think he may even play on potentially a top line.
He's a left winger.
Yeah, he's a left winger. So
I'd say NHL ready, like maybe not top line, but you could probably, depending on how training camp goes, right?
Yeah.
Like, for last time he played with Arizona, he played 21 games with Arizona this year, and he got 13 points in 21 games.
That's not bad.
That's pretty solid. Like I don't mind that.
I mean, keep in mind he had a 26% shooting percentage, which will most definitely dip well below that.
It will. However, he was playing with Arizona, and now he's playing for the Leafs. So I think the two may even out.
So what you're saying is it's going to dry. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Okay. No, fair enough. Who else do we want to discuss here? Do you guys want to jump in? Kind of. We've got a few other signings here as well. All bargain bin. By the way, bargain bin shopping deals.
Yeah. They're all 2-way deals. Like mostly going to be AHL call-up, injury call-ups, if anything. Yeah. But
I think you kind of nailed it with Mrazec, Bunting, and Kampf. Those are like the 3 big ones. Obviously, Mrazek's the biggest one. But the other ones, you can bury them in the AHL if they don't work out. They come up for a game or two.
Yeah.
Although I will point out, Michael Amadio, he's from the Sioux.
Oh, my God.
Didn't play for the Sioux, but he's from there.
He's from there. Okay, well, we gotta have Sioux in there somewhere, right?
Oh, exactly.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah. Guys, like, we need a left winger here. I know we're talking about free agency. We're talking about all these deals. What in the heck are the Leafs going to do? Because right now, we've talked about this on our last episode a little bit. I don't want to go too far into it, but we have 2 vacant topped left wing spots. Are you going to put Mikheyev there? Are you going to put Kerfoot there and try to find a third line center through trade?
Now, Kerfoot plays left wing, right? He can play left wing?
He can play left wing, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't want him there.
No.
Well, they got to try that, or they're really hoping one of these other guys like Caliver or Robinson takes a big leap forward all of a sudden, but
yeah. Like, here's the thing. So Kyle Dubas came out and said that they're not looking to get involved in the trade market.
Right. Idiot. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't believe him. Like, you cannot tell me, you cannot look at this lineup for this team that's gotten marginally worse. You've lost Zach Bogosian, who went to Tampa Bay and was literally quoted
for nothing.
As he the Leafs would have given him a $1 this year. They would have.
What was it?
I know.
$850?
Yeah, $850.
$850 for 3 years.
Like, and he said in the nicest way possible that he wants to go play for an organization that can win. He said, he tried to say it in a polite way, but
did you see the quote?
Yeah, I saw the quote.
They get it.
So we lost Zach Bogosian, and I understand I don't want to go down this loss train, but when we've lost all these players and we're looking at this current roster, and Kyle Dubas says, "I'm not making any trades," I don't believe him. And if he is telling the truth, it's one of the most ignorant things you could say.
Because if you sorry, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
If you base it if you base this team on paper right now compared to last year, where you've all these tremendous losses and you're replacing them with these bargain bin $800,000 deals, what is going to happen? Tampa Bay is going to steamroll you. Okay. I still believe Boston is still going to steamroll you.
I mean, they just signed Taylor Hall,
Nick Foligno
for
dimes.
Yeah.
This team is marginally worse. And unless he's willing to address that via a trade from, like, let's say we dumped Kerfoot's, $4 million or whatever it is off the books. Hypothetically, we try Adam Brooks. I think Adam Brooks is going to get a really serious look at this team in the third line or the fourth line. We need salary cap space to make a move, and we need to trade for a left winger.
Yeah, so how do you do that without a trade? There's literally nothing you can do in the free agency with $800,000.
I think GMs are liars. They lie all the time. Yeah. They constantly lie. I think this might be Dubas' way of maybe he got some, again, this is all assumptions, but maybe he received some trade offers he didn't enjoy, so he's just saying, I'm off the market. Realistically, he's not. He will improve this team if he has a chance, because if not, what are you doing?
The issue is his poker face is garbage, because we won't make any trades, but anyone who looks they just have to look him up on Cap Friendly, you have to, unless you want to rebuild, you have to.
Right.
He's going to be fighting for his job, so he's going to have to do something.
Yeah,
if this goes down quickly, bye-bye.
We lost a couple of big guys. I don't really consider Nick Foligno as a huge loss, considering he didn't really bring much to the team last year because of his injury and stuff. He could have, but he got injured.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make us much worse because we didn't really see what he could do for the team. In my opinion, might be making us worse too. Pardon me? Yeah, it did. Yeah. Okay. So skill-wise,
I think it's a big loss. I think that's a big loss. That's a guy who can play on the penalty kill. It's one of the only guys who could provide grit. A leader as well for nothing.
And we lost the other two. The only other two guys that could provide grit are also gone.
Right.
We lost Bogosian, like we mentioned earlier, and Zach Hyman.
And we lost Foligno to a rival.
We lost Foligno to a rival.
$3.8 million a year.
Yeah. Great job.
Great job. Seriously, I want to hear both your takes on this. Next year, 82-game season. Where do the Leafs finish in their division?
Camille, I believe we talked about this last week, and you both gave me flack for this. I think there's a good chance they don't make the playoffs.
Mike?
I think they make playoffs. I think they still have enough scoring power that will do it to the regular season. Whether that leads to anything in the playoffs, likely not, because the team's worse. It's hard.
Think of it this way: they are, like you said, marginally worse. One injury, because we have no depth. You have one of those top guys out of her injury. You have Jack Campbell out for injury. That we're a fringe playoff at the best right now. You lose one of those top four guys or one of our goalies, we have no depth to cover it. True. None.
I'm not so much worried about the goalie depth. I'm okay with Mrazec playing.
Yeah. It's just to mention it. Also, we don't have a backup forward. We don't have a third goalie. I think we have Hutchinson for third.
Whatever.
We don't want that.
Maybe playoffs they address that. But what you said, right? You have a serious flaw when, and I know we keep harping this, but it's okay. Okay. 4 players taking up a majority of your salary cap. What happens? We've seen what happens. We've seen what happens on this fragile team when a key player gets injured. John Tavares gets injured. I will say this again. If Tavares is not injured in that past Montreal series, they win that series. They get 1 goal out of Tavares. John Tavares is good for 1 goal or setting up an extra goal.
Easily.
Yeah,
easily.
Jake Muzzin has been injured for the last 2 playoffs. I'm not saying defense was a problem last year. It wasn't. Defense was actually not an issue. We had depth. But again, you saw what happened when Jake Muzzin got injured in Columbus. That team got ran over. And what I'm saying is that, again, there's no depth on this team. The moment one of these big 4 guys get hurt, one of your key guys, you've got nobody to fill in for them. Yep. You've got no option at depth. This year is going to make that so much more apparent than last year, because last year we still had options.
Yeah. Even on defense, we just lost Zach Bogosian. So if Muzzin gets injured, who are you bringing up? You're already bringing up Sandin Liljegren to fill out the defense.
Well, you're bringing up Sandin only because you still have Dermott, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But they're going to have.
He also has injury issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Guys, Sandin, Liljegren, Robertson. Those 3 players get a shot this year. They at least play 10 games at the start.
Sandin's going to play most of the season.
Yeah, I think Sandin will play too.
Well,
these guys need to take a jump.
We need to know what we have. Like, what do we have? Like with these guys, are they worth the hype or are they not? We got to know. Do we want to pivot here now a little bit? Obviously, we've talked about the Leafs quite a bit. Left wing, we agree needs to get addressed. I think there will be. I think they're not. I don't think they're done. I think they will make a trade, despite what Dubas says. More importantly, though, I think we should talk about some of these other free agent deals, just separating ourselves from the Leafs a little bit. I think, Brandon, you should talk about the biggest one that you thought was interesting.
I got a couple. Can I bring up one I didn't mention to you guys yet?
Yeah, sure.
Just while we're talking about the Leafs and spending all this money. Tampa, who's, like you mentioned, is going to steamroll us. It's great to see players taking discounts to play for winning teams, eh? Do you know what Braden Point signed for?
Yep.
Was it 9.5?
Yeah.
9.5 for 8 years. I would take him over Marner.
What about Landeskog?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We mentioned that last week. We were hoping maybe we could kind of look for Landeskog.
A dream.
With no money, by the way.
But
yeah, but that didn't happen either.
What did he sign for? He signed for like 7, didn't he?
7, was it 7.5 or no? Let me check.
Either way, these contracts are just making the Marner contract look worse and worse
every year.
It's crazy.
It's disgusting.
Like Braden Point is a centerman who's won 2 Stanley Cups. How are we paying a winger more than him?
Because
I understand there's a tax-free state. I understand that, but don't give me that. Do not. Don't bring that here.
What? Bring
the
what?
Tax-free state thing. Don't. Let's leave that out of the conversation.
I'm going to bring up, and I've mentioned this already. Dubas is horrible at asset management and contracts at bargaining. He's terrible.
All right, so let's keep focusing on these free agents, because if we keep going back to the Leafs, my blood is going to boil.
I mean, we're at a Leafs podcast, so we're going to have to deal with it eventually.
All right, so you spoke about Bogosian and you spoke about Braden Point. What was your other hot take free agency?
I would call it a hot take, but Marc-Andre Fleury, Vezina winner, pivotal to the Vegas' success the last few years, and Vegas gives him up for a rookie goaltender who has no NHL experience, and didn't even have the decency to tell me. Found it on Twitter. So Marc-Andre Fleury gets traded for a guy named Mikko Hakkarainen. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Who has not played for an NHL team.
And how do we? Why? Why is he retiring? Is that the plan?
He might now.
He might now, because I wouldn't want to play for Chicago, who they're in a rebuild right now, and he only has 1 year left.
Well, Chicago's made some interesting moves, so. But
again, but he's still not.
I agree.
He's got 1 year left. He's not going to do that, right?
Yeah.
Chicago might actually be a decent team, like you said, but not good enough for.
They're not there yet,
run.
But they're getting.
They're not. Yeah, they're not a cup run team, and he gets traded for this just rando, and it was definitely just a salary dump. But what the hell?
Right.
There's still. I mean, you could have went to friggin' Buffalo. Buffalo needs a goalie like yesterday. Up until late last night, they didn't have their cap friendly didn't have a goalie tab because they had no goalies in the organization.
They didn't want to be that cruel. They're like, we're not going to tell them, but we won't send them to Buffalo.
So I saw. Oh, go ahead.
They could have been. Sorry, I was going to say, yeah, you don't want to be sent to Buffalo, but at least they could have gotten something from Buffalo. Like, what the hell?
Have you guys seen the memes about Buffalo where they're like, Buffalo has no players. Like, what is going on with Buffalo? And then there's a clip of Shane Wright playing. It was going to be arguably the first, like most likely the first overall pick coming up. And they're like, oh, that's why. Yeah, Buffalo really. Why is Jack Eichel still there? Can we,
I don't think
I believe their asking is just insane, and no one wants to pay for it because we're after a pandemic. Everyone's short on money and all this stuff, and they're like, no, like you need us, like you need us to do stuff for you. Like anyone will take Jack Eichel off your hands, but you need us more than we need you. We want Jack Eichel because it's extra and it'd be awesome to have Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel doesn't want to play for you. He's and I've also heard they're not disclosing all of his injury stuff about how long he's going to be out and stuff because he wants to get. They didn't want him to get surgery. He has fought to get surgery, and now from what I'm hearing, they don't want to disclose all his health records. Same with what Montreal did during the Seattle draft. They didn't disclose all of Price's records in a timely manner.
Yep. I think the only other thing I would say when it comes to free agency for me, just when I'm always curious about these moves. We saw a couple of, obviously Tampa Bay cannot keep their core together when people like Braden Point are getting giant paydays, so they obviously lose Blake Coleman, who was pretty integral to their win, and they lost him. He signed for a lot more money than I thought he would. Like he signed for 6 years at almost $30 million. I honestly was surprised. I'm not sure if you guys have looked into that at all, but I just see these players being moved, and I just wish. Again, I hate bringing it back to the Leafs, but we are a Leafs podcast. I wish we had the salary cap space to maneuver. I just wish we did because there's just so much talent out there that we could have if we didn't have 4 forwards making $10+ million.
And that's how we could get salary cap if we got rid of one of them.
Well, on that point too, I agree. But the biggest thing is usually free agency is crazy, contracts are always really high. But I find this year it's been kind of weird. There's been some really cheaper signings at good value players, but of course these don't have cap for when this is happening.
Yeah,
like I've already mentioned, Foligno, who went for dirt cheap. Even a guy like Brandon Saad, he only went for 4.5.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think I said to you, Mike, in private, I thought he was going to go for 5.5, 6.
Yeah, I think on a normal free agent market, I would expect that.
Yeah,
usually you pay more for those guys, but it's been a weird one. I don't know what's going on, but
it
doesn't work in Leafs' favor though.
Yeah, guys, we've talked about it a little bit in the first episode. The two things that need to happen for this team, for me to regain faith in this team, and I seriously mean this, I think you need to trade Kerfoot on this team this year. I think you have to. I don't think trying him at the they've tried him at the wing before. It hasn't been this offensive dynamo. We need someone who's a point producer on the top 2 lines.
They have to do it regardless. They don't have a choice. This is the only way for them to get any cap space to do anything.
Yeah.
And exactly. At this rate, they're going to get rid of Kerfoot and then just get 3 more $1 million guys.
Mm-hmm. It's great. That, and then the second thing we already discussed this, but I saw a recent Sportsnet thing about it was Morgan Riley, and it was also on The Athletic as well. Will the Leafs lose another player for nothing? Again?
Yes.
I know we talked about it. Move them both out. If honestly, please move them both out. Get something in return for them while you can. Don't talk about this all season. Don't make it a story with the media all season, distracting them. Get it over with. Get it done. Cut it now. Because you're not signing Morgan Riley at $7 million on this team. It's not happening unless you're deciding to trade Marner.
Well, yeah, Dubas is going to have to. If we start off slow and we're not competing right away, he's going to have no choice because he'll have to do something if he wants to keep his job. and moving Riley. Someone going on a run will trade something for him.
Yeah.
Ideally, well, obviously they would, but he's going to have to do something. Otherwise, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, because like it's ridiculous. Like this year, they've lost Zach Bogosian for nothing. They lost David Riddick, who we didn't talk about, but we lost him for nothing. We lost Nick Foligno for nothing, and we lost Zach Hyman for nothing.
You mentioned Zach Hyman twice.
Did I? Oh, my bad. Yeah. But Zach Hyman, I love Zach Hyman. Bogosian. Sorry, I thought that's who I said. But yeah, we lost those guys for nothing. And then next year we're going to lose Morgan Riley for nothing. If you have to trade Morgan Riley this offseason, you have to.
And you look at some of the fan, like some people have brought this up. And like I like talking about it from a fan perspective because that's what all three of us are. We're fans. We're guys just shooting the shit, talking about this team that makes my heart lose 5 years off its lifespan every season. People will say, "Oh, well, you guys think you're finding a replacement for Morgan Riley, someone better at that price?" It's not about that. Yeah, of course we're going to get a worse off. Like we're going to be worse when we trade Morgan Riley, but we cannot keep him unless we decide to trade someone else. And we got it. This team to me, honestly, is a fringe playoff team at best right now. Mm-hmm. I know we have a 50-goal scorer potential in Austin Matthews. I understand that we have these high offense guys. And like Mike said, maybe they can do it in the regular season again. But Kyle, you're going to lose your job. This team, if it stands as it is right now, they are not making it past the first round. It's not happening.
Unless one of these guys take a big leap, but you can't bank on that. That's a really ballsy play.
Really ballsy. Just all it takes. We've seen it already. All it takes is one injury. It takes one injury in the playoffs. Tavares goes down. Imagine, obviously he didn't perform this year in the playoffs, but let's say Matthews goes down.
And he has injury. He has injury history. He's got shoulder issues. It could happen.
Yeah. And by the way, the Leafs have 2 draft picks next season.
Yeah.
Potentially 3. We acquired a defenseman from the Minnesota Wild if he plays 30 games in the NHL.
It's a 7th rounder.
It's a 7th rounder. I know.
Throws are all dart throw picks anyways.
And we're probably gonna if he plays 30 games, we lose it. So most likely gone anyway. But we only have a first.
Where did our prospects go? We've dried up in prospects
because we keep losing them for nothing.
Well, we get good enough to make playoffs, so we don't get a great pick, and then we lose first round.
Like the teams that have had this kind of trade away the picks, they've won a round in the playoffs usually.
Yeah,
they've had some playoff success. They've tasted what that's like, and they're usually closer.
You tend to trade away your picks for deadline acquisitions.
Yeah,
and the Leafs. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me right now, but the Leafs have a horrible history of deadline acquisitions. I don't have it. I wish I had it in front of me right now.
Sorry, what was that? What are you looking for?
It was a list of the Leafs deadline acquisitions since in the Matthews era.
Oh yeah.
And it had Pollock and all those guys on there. And they played an average of 13 games for the Leafs. And we have been and that's where all of our picks have gone because we've been giving up picks for these guys who have all ended up walking. So we're just giving up picks because we believe so much in this core. And now we're down. Now we're a team that we don't have any picks to give away. We don't have any cap to give away. We don't have any prospects to give away. So what do you expect to do?
Yeah. I mean, those are all great points. I just saw something from Elliot Friedman. It was a tweet that I want to ask you guys about. Maybe you guys can help clarify it for me and for anyone else who's confused. Toronto has indicated it is protecting its remaining cap space, approximately $3.5 million for a forward, likely a winger for the top 6. Could be someone remaining in free agency or from another team needing cap relief. We will see where this goes. Stay tuned. I thought they only had $850,000 in cap space. So where's this $3.5 million coming from?
Well, that's what Cap Friendly says.
Right.
And that's up to date. Maybe I don't know.
Does anyone else know? Because that's interesting. That's a recent tweet. That's a recent tweet.
Can you reread that for me, please?
Yeah. So Elliot Friedman Hockey Night in Canada, Toronto has indicated it is protecting its remaining cap space, approximately $3.5 million for a forward, likely a winger for the top 6. Could be someone remaining in free agency or from another team needing cap relief. We will see where this goes. Stay tuned.
Where the hell is that through?
So if that's, unless I'm missing something here, that was from Elliot Friedman. So
how long ago?
It was at the end of the day yesterday after all the signings.
Because I'm looking at the Leafs cap friendly right now.
So am I.
855,000 in cap space.
Is there some kind of? I almost wonder if there's like a. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that.
Something that they can do.
Yeah, it must be some kind of cap maneuvering. Obviously, they have it. They have it.
There's always ways to get around.
Yeah. Huh. Well, there you go. 3.5 million. Trade Kerfoot. Then all of a sudden you've got 7 million, and then we're in the market for a first line left winger.
If there's any left.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like
that's right. I'm assuming.
Up, so.
I'm assuming they're in free agency.
Yeah. They'll have to make the trade, or really, like I said, they're gonna bank. They're banking on these young guys, putting a blindfold on, throwing a dart up in the air, and hoping it doesn't hit them because
don't have the depth.
I have hopes for Robertson. I want him to do well, but we don't know. We just don't know. He hasn't had enough playing, so
yeah, it's he's a gamble. They're all gambles. Like, let's face it, Liljegren. Yeah. Sandin's the safest bet, I think, but Liljegren's still a gamble. Robertson's a gamble, but we need to know what we have, and I'm just so excited. I'm excited to see. Honestly, it's the first time in a while, just because of how the team looks on paper, where it's like, and I'm looking at it like doom and gloom. I'm like, holy crap! I want to see how these guys are actually going to perform, because I knew how the team would perform in the North Division last year. I'm like, I think we can do some big damage in the regular season, and we did.
In the regular season.
And by all means, it should have been more, but we did. And this year, I have no idea what we have. We've got the same 4 players that Kyle Dubas is betting his career on, and then a bunch of, again, bargain bin shoppers. It's almost like Kyle Dubas should have
been a scout.
No, it's almost like he should have done this bargaining thing, this bargain bin shopping when, he had to sign his stars. Maybe he should have had that same cheap mentality at that time too, where they're going to get their money, but maybe not overpay, overpay everyone.
Imagine being Colorado and signing your captain to like 7.5, 8 mil.
Oof. And he produces, like, he puts points up.
And they made it to the 3rd round.
The guy's an all-around player. Yeah. It's not even about just offense. The guy literally is a leader, plays everywhere, 200-foot game.
Imagine.
Well, I have a question with Leafs. I don't know your thoughts on this, but our Alex Galchenyuk, whatever you say it.
Galchenyuk.
That's what do you think? Like, because he's set to hit free agent. What do you guys think? Do you think the Leafs should have kept him around, or?
I mean, he was good. He had one blunder that the Leafs fandom kind of want to kill him for.
Yeah, well,
but
can answer about that too.
I mean,
I just want to talk about it because he's a player we haven't really talked about yet, and I'm just curious.
It's true. We did lose him.
Price.
So what did he make? What did he make last year? I'm pretty sure it was close to min, maybe a mil.
Yeah, it was very low.
It was very low.
Yeah, it was like 1.05 or something like that.
So let me speak a little bit about Galchenyuk, because he did come out and say he really liked the Maple Leafs organization. Like, he liked it here. No, but no, they don't. Otherwise, they would want to play here for cheaper. No, more importantly, he liked how he was treated here. Obviously, he was given a second. He's been floated around a lot, right, in his career. I didn't mind him, honestly, but I don't want him in my top 6.
No.
And we already have enough bottom 6 forwards now, I think, with these random signings. Like, we've got... What is our bottom 6 right now? Like, it's Jason Spezza, Wayne Simmons, Mikheyev, Engvall. That Engvall contract needs to get buried.
Oh, I forgot about Engvall.
It's... What is it, Brandon? In terms of the amounts, like over $1 million, right?
Engvall makes 1.25.
I mean,
it's okay for your 3rd line guy, I guess. But he doesn't really have a shot.
My point is it seems like we have a surplus of bottom 6 forwards now. I know some of them are going to be in the AHL and whatever, and we can bury them with some 2-way contracts. But I'm really looking forward to seeing. Let me pull up a list here quickly of the available wingers that are left that play left wing for free agency. I'm kind of generally curious what we have.
Because while you do that, I want to list off notable players that we have left on forward. There's not a lot. I mean, after Matthews, Tavares, Marner, and Nylander, all we really have that's above, a fourth liner, like not like these bargain bin guys. All we have left is Kerfoot, Mikheyev, and Spezza. Because this is our forward depth. Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander, solid. Kerfoot, Mikheyev, David Kampf, Pierre Engvall, Michael Bunting, Wayne Simmons, Jason Spezza, Curtis Gabriel, Michael Amadio, Adam Brooks. Most of those guys are AHL.
Yeah, it looks like they're literally betting on hopefully their young guys take a step up, and two, like the old guys keep like playing well, like Spezza and Simmons. Those guys.
That's not a winning. That's not a winning strategy.
It's not, but that's what he's grasping at straws, I guess, because he's out of money.
Yeah, he's out of money.
Well, when we say Dubas is betting on his top guys, right? He literally has to. These guys, all Matthews, Marner, even Tavares, they all have to find another gear. They all have to go up. They have to this season. I mean, literally, I don't know how you improve on those goal numbers for Matthews, but everything has to go up for this team to have a shot at anything, any kind of playoff success. Making the playoffs in general is going to be a struggle this year. So, so I looked at the unrestricted free agents, and I'm looking at sporttrack.com right now, and they haven't updated their list, but a lot of these guys have gone. But some of the guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys know of anything, please correct me. But the people left that I see here for the left wing are, and hang on here, let's see.
But while you're looking at that, just to update you, Mike, Galchenyuk last year made $925.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, nothing. I don't think the guy's a top 6 guy or anything, but I'd honestly rather be paying him than paying a guy like Bunting almost $2 million.
Oh,
or no, he's only
sorry. I'm wrong. His cap hit was 1.05.
I thought that's what it was.
Yeah,
but
sorry about that.
It's close enough, anyways.
Yeah,
but I'd rather pay the guy like that than like Bunting's getting like $950.
Yeah, but what Galchenyuk is
exactly.
Too.
That's fair.
But yeah, again, Bunting is the grid, I guess, which is what they're going for. I don't know.
I cannot find a good a good free agency tracker, so I won't go into it too much. Unless you guys have one offhand that you know of, I can't find anything. No,
I do have 2 guys that were left wing that I know are unsigned that I wouldn't mind taking a look at.
Who's that?
First one, Thomas Tatar.
Yep,
we mentioned him last week. He's 30 years old. He's unsigned. He was on Montreal. Last year, he was 10 goals, 20 assists in 50 games, 30 points in 50 games. The year before that, 22 goals, 39 assists in 68 games. So 61 points in 68 games. That's good. That's really good. And he made $5.3 million, but he had an off year last year, and Montreal can't afford to re-sign him right now. So he's an option. But the other one, Nick Ritchie from Boston, he doesn't have a contract yet. He's only 25. He only made $1.5 million and 15 goals, 11 assists, so 26 points in 56 games. That's a solid left winger for your third line, maybe even your second.
Yeah, we want. Yeah, I mean, so
we don't have the money to go anything higher.
We will. We can. If Kerfoot gets moved, we can. I think again. If I were
that's another left winger gone. Then we have no left wingers.
So you're looking at it that way. I was looking at it more.
You have to play him as a left winger at this point. You have to. You don't have a left winger.
Yeah, we have none.
I was thinking.
You gonna have Michael Bunting playing on the top line with Matthews?
No, you're forgetting that I think Nick Robertson's gonna get a serious look at the second line. I don't think he comes to play on the third line in this team. I really don't. I think he gets a look on the second.
I think he will. I think to start, you put him on the third or fourth. You don't just bring a guy up from the AHL and put him right on the top line. I would like him to get second line minutes, but you have to have a more of a.
I think they take that gamble at first.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you put top line left winger then? You're not going to put him on the top line.
Yeah, they already have. They already have done it. When he was 18 years old, he was called up and he was playing on the first power play unit with Matthews, Tavares, Marner.
True. In the series they lost.
My, just to wrap this up here, my rationality is that third line centermen should be cheaper than Kerfoot, at least on this team specifically, because obviously we had no choice. If you can find a way to sign a third line centerman, I just look, there are a few available, and you trade Kerfoot and it's a salary dump move, you may have to lose something else with it. I don't know if that's a pick or what that is. We only have 2. So then you have the cap flexibility to try and do something else. But like we said, free agency, there's not much left. You mentioned Tatar. You mentioned, I don't know if either of those guys are a fit. Can Kyle Dubas? Okay, let's prediction time. I actually want to forward this back. Right. Yes or no from each of you. Do you think Kyle Dubas is the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs next season? After this year?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's a solid no from me as well. I'm trying to be the optimist here.
Really?
You just can't. Yeah, you just can't go on. You can't go on the ice with this team. You can't. It's too flawed.
Yeah.
Last year I was okay. We had people.
Everyone knew last year was the go for it year.
No, I know.
But on paper they looked amazing. They were solid. But we just lost a bunch of more people for nothing. We got nothing for them. We spent picks on Foligno and stuff like that, and he left for nothing, did nothing. He was injured. Wayne Simmons hasn't looked the same since the first couple weeks from last year. He hurt his hand, so he can't fight and he can't shoot. I'm not sure what this offseason is going to be like for that injury.
I will say that we did miss a trade. We did miss a signing. It happened very recently.
Oh.
I'm going to announce it right now. Live breaking news.
Whoa!
The Maple Leafs have signed forward Pavel Gogolev to a 3-year entry-level contract. This is about 6 hours ago. I just hadn't had a chance to look at the Twitter. So I'm looking at the details now. He's 21 years old. He had 12 points in 13 games with the American Hockey League, the Marlies. And before that, he was with a KHL team. So he is a Russian native, and he spent 4 seasons in the Ontario Hockey League between the Guelph Storm and the Peterborough Petes, registering 182 points in 219 games. And he won an OHL championship. Great. So that is our newest signing right there. I think that seals it. We've got our player. We're good to go. Start it up, Dubas.
I'm very interested. Did he play in the Sioux?
No. Peterborough Petes and Guelph Storm.
Oh, interesting. Are you sure that's not a fake account?
Yeah. It's the official Toronto Maple Leaf account. Yeah,
it's
guys.
Another young guy dart throw.
Yeah, literally. You're just at this point. We call it. There's a phrase that I use in my job. And it's like just like spraying and praying. It's like FPS games as well. It's the same thing with the Leafs right now. You're just throwing out money, trying to fill depth, cheap options, and you're hoping to God that one hits. And one guy's just a surprise 25-goal season. You get a bunch of production from him, and my gosh,
This is kind of like how the Senators have been running their team, just like a bunch of young guys.
Yeah, you know what? You knock the Senators. I think they're...
No, they look better now. They after deadline last year, they've looked pretty damn dangerous. And if they didn't have such a crappy start to last year, they might have actually made the playoffs.
See, they didn't rebuild the right way. He'd be terrible for several years. Where the Leafs, when they were rebuilding, were finishing 9th every year, just making a late surge, almost make playoffs, but miss out, and then you don't get the great
drafts. Yeah.
You got to be crap. Hence Marner, Matthews, Nylander, all these guys. We were terrible for a few years.
Yeah.
We had such a good thing going. I know there's a lot of mixed. So here's the thing. I love Tavares, and I know there's some people in one camp that say, "Oh, you could have kept Kadri as your second line centerman, not go after Tavares, use that $10 million towards X amount." I understand that. There's also this aspect of, no, you can sign Tavares, but you don't overpay Marner, and then you still have that money left over to obviously spread the wealth, right? I still love Tavares on this team. I think having him back is going to be great after that injury.
Has there been news about how he's been doing after that hit?
Yeah, I looked. There's nothing. I think You know what? He was pretty close to returning in the playoffs.
I don't think we'll hear anything so closer.
Yeah, but to be fair, people are like, oh, I'm playing in the playoffs, and they have punctured lungs and broken ribs and shit like that. It's the playoffs. They're going to play regardless. They don't care.
I think concussion protocols are a little bit more strict with that.
Yeah.
But
like his concussion could have been, he might not have had a concussion, but that might have made him miss a step somewhere else. Like maybe he's a little bit like subconsciously, or maybe he's lost a step on his skating, and he's already not a fast skater. I don't know. Probably not, but he's a little older, and that was a nasty, nasty hit.
Yeah.
Just something to think about.
Yeah. I think one of the things I want to say is that the fact that, players like Brandon Saad signed today, $4.5 million. We mentioned this earlier, and like all these left wingers are coming off the market now. What do you guys think is the most likely scenario for addressing that need? Because Elliot mentioned that maybe it's a cap dump move where a team needs to get rid of a player and they go to the lease for that. $3.5 million is not a big cap dump, but some teams may need to do that, right? But doesn't Seattle have like a crap ton of cap space to work with? So like, wouldn't teams go to I'm just trying to figure out.
Seattle's been weird, man.
I'm just trying to figure out, what do the Leafs like? The $3.5 million, again, it's not a lot. So what are you looking for? Like, what do you think is a realistic move? Like, because it seems like they plan on keeping Kerfoot, right?
Yeah,
it sounds that way. So a top six forward, $3.5 million, then you've got no flexibility whatsoever. You're screwed if anything happens.
If you want, I do have that list you were looking for of the left winger free agents.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So
in no order here, Zach Parise hasn't been signed yet. He got bought out. I mentioned this last week that he's 37, but he can still play. You can maybe get him for league min. Zetterberg, I wouldn't go for him. He's 40 years old. James Neal, he's 34.
Henrik Zetterberg?
Yeah, Henrik Zetterberg. He's 40.
He's not in the NHL anymore.
Oh, he's listed on the free agent.
He's listed on there.
I don't think he's technically.
He hasn't legitimately retired.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah,
Neal's interesting.
Yeah, James Neal. Yeah, he's only 34.
If we can get him for a decent price,
what was it, James Neal?
Okay,
yeah, James Neal.
Yeah, because he got bought out.
Yeah, that would be a great option.
Yeah, I don't know how much he made last. Actually, sorry, I have that. Last year he made about $2 million.
Was he with? I know he was Edmonton, right?
Yeah, he was with Edmonton.
And before that, he was with Calgary, because I remember they did a swap. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm okay with James Neal.
Slim pickings.
But it's really interesting, right? Because Dubas literally came out and said, we're not going to the trade market. But then Elliot Friedman literally reports saying they have $3.5 million that they're protecting in cap space, most likely for a salary dump.
Yeah.
That is via trade. You can't trust anything GMs say.
Honestly, no.
They can't make themselves look bad. They just got to double down on what they say until
that's right.
Something happens. They say, well, I did this because the opportunity came out of nowhere.
Oh, guys, I can't wait for the chaos to start. 2 months in, we've got a negative record. Riley's got to go. Got to right the ship. Trade Marner. Get it done.
It's not going to happen, which is really unfortunate. No. I'm calling it right now. I want to say that they just get destroyed in the first round, because they're going to most likely play Tampa. Tampa's going to be first in their division, and there's no conceivable way we beat Tampa in a series. Not a chance in hell. But they're either going to play Tampa or Boston, and if they get lucky enough to play them, I don't even, with this team, we're actually quite a bit worse than we were last year. And now we're playing in a much harder division. I think there's a good chance we don't even make the playoffs.
No, I say we make it. But anyways, I say we make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And first round dusted again.
Yeah.
We'll see.
At best, first round dusted, because we'd be playing Tampa, because Tampa's going to be first in the division.
I mean, they got weaker too, right? Tampa themselves, they obviously lost 2 players. They lost 4 players, actually. Scratch that. They lost Barclay Goudreau, Blake Coleman, David Savard, and then Yanni Gord.
Yeah, they did, but they did get some guys too, right? Like they re-signed Taylor Hall, and Taylor Hall was fantastic.
No, Taylor Hall is on Boston.
Oh, Oh, sorry, I'm saying Tampa. My bad.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, I'm thinking about both right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Boston's another problem that they need to address too.
Well, they're going to have to play those two teams, so they're going to be 1-2, and then we're going to be.
We'll see.
They're going to be 1-2, and then because Montreal, I think, is a bit worse now because now they don't have Shea Weber because he's apparently going to be out for the season.
Talks of retirement.
Talks of retirement.
Yeah. But I think Montreal will be a bit worse. I think maybe if Leafs get in, they're going to be the third seed in the division. Just get in again.
I mean, we can talk about hypotheticals like all the time. I don't know where they're going to finish. I would imagine they could finish second over Boston. It doesn't mean they're a better team than Boston.
No, but I don't think we make it past the first round. If we make it in, we're not getting past the first round. With our team is much weaker, and playing those American teams. I don't know if you guys watch any of the hockey after like any of the like American teams playing. It's just different hockey. It's so much different.
Hey man, Montreal was able to do it.
They were. Montreal's built to play playoff hockey. They weren't built for regular season hockey.
They were. They lost. I think losing Danault is going to really hurt them so much more than you think.
Oh, yeah.
Because he went to the Kings.
Yeah, he did. I think they overpaid him a bit, but...
Yeah, I mean, good free agency, right? And
yeah, he's good, though. He's very good. You're right.
Yeah, he is. He's great. I think that's the main reason why Matthews Marner got shut down. Like, I mean, seriously, he was all over them. Mm. All right, guys. Any final thoughts on this team, free agency, before we decide to wrap up? I do want to say that one of the things I want to focus on for this show going forward is we're going to introduce a really fun format. I want to bring this up to you guys. I'm so excited. We're going to bring up like a quick, like, it's going to be almost like a fast rapid fire thing where we'll go off with some different ideas here. And I'm so pumped up. Final thoughts from me. I think that the Leafs are not done. I think they make a move before next week. I seriously think the move that they're going to make comes really soon. I don't think they wait deep into August. The season starts October 13th. I think the move that they're looking to make is obviously going to be well before training camp, well before September. I think it happens sooner than later. And we need a top six forward, and we need our two rookies to, or not two rookies, but we need our rookies to step up and try something.
10 rookies.
Yeah. I mean, specifically Robertson and LW'ingin.
Yeah. I just have one last question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Just going off of when you think they're going to make a move. How long do we wait before we start panicking about him doing nothing? Dubas being the guy I'm talking about. Like I feel like if we don't hear any big moves by the next show, by next Wednesday, Thursday, I feel like that's everything. Like most of the big stuff's happened at that point. I feel like if he doesn't do anything in this next week, he's not doing anything big, and it's really scary.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a more passive approach. I think that as teams realize what they have, what their salary cap space is, going forward, I think anything that happens, this is going to sound like kind of a lame answer, but anything that happens before September, like if something doesn't happen before September, like, you know, when we're coming into the Labor Day weekend and we haven't done anything, that's a major concern to me because training camp is coming up and you want to have your team adjusted and ready to go. That would be very surprising. Yeah.
Training camp's like what, halfway through September or like the first week of September?
No, not first week. It's like halfway through towards the, like, you know.
Well, it's different this year because we're starting a little later.
Right. No. So it's going to be a little bit. Yeah. We're starting the season a little bit later. Not by much though. Yeah. It's October 13th. So
yeah.
So I think if we haven't had anything happen by September,
that's
a little nerve wracking. I think it happens, like I said, in the next week or two. We have to address that left wing position.
Yeah.
Mike, what are your takeaways from this whole fiasco of this free agency and our AHL signings?
Well, my takeaway is pretty simple. It's 3 words: thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Take it how you want it, whether that means Dubas needs to do something or prayers that one of these young guys hit something. Thoughts and prayers.
Let me actually, quick thing here. Nick Robertson starts. Let's say he's starting on the top line, second line. If I told you Nick Robertson is going to score 25 goals on the left wing in either top two lines this season, how much more comfortable does that make you with the team going and it's consistent? Do you think this team do you think this team is still a big weakness, or do you think it's much better?
Well, much better if he can perform.
If he can perform, yeah, that's great. But you kind of if he essentially replaces Hyman, essentially, is that what you're kind of getting at?
I'm trying to understand from both of your perspectives. What can this team do with the limited amount of cap space that they have that would make you feel comfortable? For me, going to be comfortable, I need a left winger, who has the skill to keep up with Matthews or Tavares and Nylander or Marner. One of those, because Zach Hyman could not keep up with them. I'm sorry, great grinder, works, gets the puck. How many times did I see the puck go on his stick in close, and he can't get the puck over the goalie's pad? He's just not skilled enough. I know, Brandon, you're a huge fan. I know Leafs Nation's a huge fan of Zach Hyman. I love Zach for what he brought. He's not skilled enough to play with those players. He's not.
I agree and disagree with you for the fact that, no, he's not as skilled as them and he's nowhere close. But Marner and Matthews are little babies that don't go into the corners, and that's why Zach Hyman was there, and he would get them the puck.
I don't think Matthews is a baby. I just think he stays out because we need him to shoot.
No, that's fair. I don't know. I've seen... He's
obviously not Hyman, but...
No, I'm just going by with what Camille said is how many times have you seen Hyman not get the puck over? How many times have I seen Hyman go into the corner, pass it to Matthews, being in a scrum with four guys, get it to Matthews or Marner, and they score? I've seen it quite a few times.
Nah, I think I'm going to agree with Mike here. That's literally a role play, right? So Matthews is the shooter, has to stay away from the scrum. The whole purpose of Zach going in there is Zach's role.
Yeah, but now we don't have anyone to play that role. That's what I'm getting at. What does that line do now?
Maybe it's a new format. Try something different.
Yeah, try something.
That'd be nice if the Leafs did something new.
Yeah, adapt.
I think Austin Matthews can. I think he's better at winning puck battles than Zach Hyman is. I think he's better with his stick. Zach is obviously good with his body, but
Matthews is phenomenal with his stick.
Again, these players are making a lot of money. They can evolve. They can get better. I'm telling you right now.
That would be nice.
They can get better. All right, guys.
They're making a lot of money, but they can't perform in the playoffs. So
who knows? Maybe this is the year.
Thoughts and prayers.
If a guy comes to you and says, "Hey man, I want to borrow some money," and so it was. Let's see, the Leafs. Austin Matthews came into the NHL in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. So it's been 5 years of disappointment. And he says, "I'll pay it back. Don't worry." And every year goes by, and he's always said, "Yeah, I'll pay it back. I'll pay it back." What makes this year any different? You're gonna pay me back this year. You're gonna pay me back for my hours spent watching this team. I don't know, man. Guys, that's it.
I think after 5 years, you would go to court.
Yeah.
I want my interest.
Probably. Where's my interest? Dubas? Where is it?
In the form of a cup.
That's it for our Leafs in 7 podcast this week. Next week, we're going to meet, I think, Thursday again, same time. Yeah. Really excited. I think what we're going to do and what we should discuss, hopefully by then there's been a move. Please.
Oh, please.
But really looking forward to kind of how the rest of the smaller moves kind of come in. And we get a final picture for what's going to happen this season, what the rosters are. I think then it's safe to make almost like a pre-roster
prediction. Yeah.
Maybe we'll share a block because I didn't want to do that today because it's probably going to change. So.
We'll have more room next week, and I think maybe the three of us can all make our own roster lineup, and we should kind of discuss it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, guys, take care. All the best.
Thoughts and prayers.
See you guys.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thanks for listening.